Good morning, beautiful people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. Are you tucking into the madness that is May? Oh my goodness, I've got such a long list of jobs to get stuck into. I was thinking about this walking down here today. I don't feel behind, but I think in the next few days, in the next week or so, if I don't get stuck into all the things that need doing by the end of next week, I'm going to start to feel really, really behind. Oh, excuse me a second. I still got this really annoying, lingering something or other. Actually, talking of the lingering something or other, I think it's made my brain go a bit soft because I'm going to tell you a little story. It's got a really nice ending though. It starts off not great. Well, it starts off great, middle bit not so good, nice ending. So, at Christmas, I had a really lovely, thank you so much, Kevin. I was sent by Kevin a lovely National Garden Centre voucher. So for anyone outside of the UK, these are like the old-fashioned book tokens. You know, you used to be able to buy a book token for someone for Christmas and then they could go off and spend it and buy exactly what they want with their little token. It's exactly the same principle, but for any affiliated garden centres. So I'm really lucky in my area that about 2 miles up the hill from me, in the next village over, there's a really lovely, small, independent garden centre, a little family run place. It's lovely. I know that loads of folk on my site get their little veggie plug plants from there, and they always seem really healthy and do really, really well. Actually, it's where I went last year when I was given a token and I went and bought a load of my herbs. Anyway, so Kevin had been incredibly generous. I had telephoned ahead to the garden centre to find out what stock they had, the cost, etc. So I knew with this token I could go and sort myself out with a whole set of brand new bean poles, 50 new bean poles, because all the bean poles I currently have, they're really, really old. They're old, they're snapping, they're brittle. The vast majority of them I've inherited. Either when I first came to this garden there were a few left around. I'm always pulling them out of sort of skips and rubbish piles. So yeah, it was high time to get a load of new ones. But obviously they're not cheap, so it's something I've put off for ages. So as soon as I got that voucher for Christmas, I thought, I know exactly what I'm going to be buying with it. The slightly unfortunate thing with this place I went to, this little garden centre, is they no longer do free local delivery. They charge £15 for delivery, which is such a shame because I'm literally just down the road from them. But never mind, I worked out that with the poles and delivery, there'd be a couple of quid left over. Morning, Rusty. He's going to jump, wobble. I knew there'd be a couple of quid left over, so I thought I'll have a little look at herbs as well. So, all well and good. So, there's going to be a big hissing fight now. Oh no, cats, don't. Oh no, there's like 2 cats now up on the potting bench. Rusty, leave her alone. Hang on a minute, let me see if I can get between these cats. Hang on. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, it's like having to separate fighting teenagers. It's ridiculous. It's because Rusty's still pestering all the girls. Anyway, back to the garden centre story. So, brilliant. I knew what I could get. You don't get change from these vouchers. Did I say that? I'm not sure. So, with the odd few quid left, I thought I'll have a look at little herbs, what have you. Now, going up there, because I had to take a bus ride up there, there are a few other things I thought, I need to get this morning. Right, so I knew I had 30 quid left in my bank account. That was it. So on the way to the bus stop, I went to the cash point, put my card in, £30 please. Card came out, walked away, got on the bus, went up to the next village, went all around the garden centre, happy, finished my business there, then left there and went to a shop. And it's when I got to the shop that I realised I'd left the cash in the wall, or sticking out of the wall. I've never done that in my life before. I was in this shop and I opened my purse and I realised what I'd done, and I burst into tears. It's ridiculous. It was like literally the last 30 quid in my account. So the two ladies in that shop, they were so sweet. They were so upset for me, and one of them was like, "Here, phone your bank." She was passing me their shop phone. "Phone your bank." Da, da, da. There's nothing they can do. It was my own stupid mistake. Anyway, so that put paid to the rest of my trip in that village. So I got on the bus, came home, feeling a bit sorry for myself, but mostly just feeling really, really cross with myself. It's such a stupid thing to do. I was going to say I'm sure we've all done it, but I'm sure we haven't all done it. I've never done it before. Anyway, I was getting right close to home, and my flat is above a shop. And just as I was coming past the shop, one of the girls tapped on the window and lifted up a big parcel. I'm just giving my arm Rusty, he's naughty today. They'd had a parcel delivery and they'd kept it for me. So my postie's really great. If I'm not in and the shop is open, he'll generally leave stuff for me there. So I went inside and I just got to find a scrap of paper because of the name on the box. Now, I have no idea who this parcel is from. I'm guessing it's from one of you guys because it was addressed to my kitchen garden PO box as opposed to my personal address. The outside, the cellar, oh my goodness, these cats, they're driving me crazy. Pack it in, you lot. Anyway, the label said The Goodness Project. So the girls in the shop were like, "Oh, what is it? What is it?" And I was like, "I have no idea." So I decided to open it in the shop with them. Right, you lot, skedaddle. Anyway, yeah, so I decided to open it in the shop with them, and it was full of yummy kind of edibles and drinkable goodies, all sort of organic, vegan stuff, absolutely lovely. Olives, cashew nuts, bars of chocolate, some beer. I'm going to show you that in a second. It was just so lovely, and so the girls were totally intrigued, and as a bit of a thank you for looking after the parcel, I gave them each a bar of chocolate. They were like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." So what a wonderful kind of bookended. There's a rubbish bit in the middle of losing me money, but how lovely. I've been to the garden centre, I've got everything I wanted. I came home to that marvellous parcel. I would like to show you tons from the parcel, but I've had it all scoffed the lot. But I just wanted to say that I'm not a massive sweet tooth person anyway, and if you told me that I could never eat chocolate again, you know, it would be okay, it would be fine. But when I do get chocolate, I love it. I've never found a vegan chocolate that sort of does anywhere near like a dairy chocolate. But this one, you see it, bouja bouja, bouja bouja, bougie bougie. These little truffles, oh my goodness, they were gorgeous. They were they were so melty and creamy, and that's something I've not experienced before with a vegan chocolate. They were melty, they were creamy, they were velvety, they were rich, they were just, I made a lot of noises as I was eating them. So if you're on your travels and you see this, I'm sure they're probably really expensive. Treat yourself or treat someone you love. Gorgeous. But the other thing was this little selection of beers, four little bottles of beer. Thank you. But one of them, this is so crazy. It's got the usual barley and hops in it, but it also has the hemp plant in it. So when I first saw the bottle, I thought, crikey, what's that? There we go. I don't know if any of you have, I'm going to try to show you without reflection. I don't know if any of you have tried this before. It's an organic beer called Cannabia. So I've never been into cannabis. You know, I'm not going to go into any kind of politics or anything, but for me, it's just not something I've ever wanted to do. I do, though, have quite a lot of clothing that's made from organic hemp. I should put a little link under this video, I'll try to remember. I use a shop called the Ethical Superstore, which is online, and they bring together all sorts of different producers, and in their clothing range they do mostly sort of organic cotton, organic hemp and organic bamboo. So for instance, all my socks, knickers, vests and my leggings, they're pretty much all organic bamboo, lovely and soft. A lot of my tops though are organic hemp. So it will be very interesting to see what's the flavour with this. Is it gonna, because I really hate the smell of weed. If I get on a bus and someone's obviously just got on ahead of me and they've been having a smoke, I'm really not keen, I'm not a fan. So it'll be interesting, is this going to taste like weed smells when it's being smoked? Dunno. I'm going to save it for a nice warm day down here, maybe after I've finished watering. I'll have that, I'll keep it in the shed. So whoever you are that sent that, oh, honestly, you made my day, you made my day. Thank you so much. Still got loads to get through before I even get to the garden. This is a massive catch up, isn't it? So in terms of the little herbs I bought, I just bought 2 new little chamomiles. These will be for tea. If you're buying chamomile, oh, such a pretty smell. If you're buying chamomile specifically for tea, just make sure when you buy, you don't buy lawn chamomile, because you want this beautiful flowering stuff. And I also got myself a bergamot. So I think I tried, was it last year? I think I tried to raise some from seed, didn't get anywhere. So like I say, I just had a little bit of change from that voucher from Kevin, so I thought, treat myself to a couple of little herbs. Yay! Now, oh no, I think I'll do that right at the end of this video. I want to mention that book that I previously quickly mentioned in my last video. Just before we go to the garden, hang on, pause for breath. Oh, excuse me, slappy slap. Our weather has been a total pickle. So if you remember a couple of videos back, I was showing you my water but just hadn't really filled up. And then at the beginning of May I was showing you the May tour, and it was a really bright, warm, sunny day. We've gone really cloudy and overcast again. We did have a spot of rain yesterday evening, so I'm hoping that that will have made a couple of today's jobs easier, because this weekend we're coming up to a little bit of a cold period. Pardon me, by the time you see this it will have been the previous weekend. So I've been hearing lots of rumours about, oh, we're going to get a frost this weekend, what have you. I've been checking regularly the weather forecast, and I keep seeing our low that we're expecting on Saturday evening, so in a couple of evenings time, it's going to be a low of 4 degrees. So although that's not frost, it's cold, and if we get a bit of wind coming through with it, and this site is quite open and windy, that could really bring the temperature down. So there's a couple of jobs I was going to do today, but I'm going to delay. It's no point, you know, I might as well delay by 3 or 4 days than try and get ahead of the game today but actually ruin something by doing it when it's going to be too cold. So I am going to pop these guys in today. They've been living outside quite happily at the nursery for weeks and weeks and weeks, but I'm going to give them a bit of protection. And the other thing I'm going to protect today, and this is why I hope the rain did something yesterday, is I'm hoping to get my spuds earthed up. I say hoping. If that soil has been moistened enough for me to pull it off the mounds and into the trenches, spuds can be a little bit prone to frost damage. So if you've got yours coming up, it is definitely worth, even if we don't get an absolute 0 frost, it's definitely worth during this kind of weather to get something on them, either by earthing them up, or if I can't earth them, if that earth won't move because it's baked hard after all the sunshine, I'll simply chuck some fleece over it. So I think it's time to shut up and get in the garden. Try to ignore this for about 6 hours. I'm going to put it over here. That's definitely a reward. It's not to be had at the start of the gardening day. So yeah, it's a bit damp out there. Put your wellies on and let's go and see what we can get up to. Well, it wasn't a huge amount of rain, so there are still some pretty dry clumps. My goodness, yeah. Oh, it's hardly done a thing. But let's give it a go anyway. Let's see how we can manage. Just try and chip a little bit off. Yeah, this will start to do the trick. It's like a bit of archaeology for potatoes. I have to say though that even though it's just been a tiny bit of rain, everything suddenly looks so green this morning. It's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Rocks. Rocks, more rocks. Oh, and I can see, this is the new potatoes. Sorry, I should have said that. But I can see, just beyond over there, all of my main crops were up, apart from the ones that I free-cycled from that lady in my neighbourhood. But it looks like they're up too, now too also as well. I told you, I'm still not really with it. I don't know what, you can probably tell from my noises, this is really still quite hard. Yeah, I don't know what bug has got into my system, but I tell you what, it's made me feel proper feeble and pathetic. Oh my goodness. But not enough to keep me out of the garden. Yay. Wow, I really thought that rain would have done more than this. Never mind. It's doable. It is a bit doable. And because this soil in these two, in the new potato trenches, it is at least a bit more friable. So, because it's quite open now, when we do get some more rain, the rain can get in there. Because the problem is, when my soil bakes to concrete, when we get rain just runs off. So, that's better than nothing. And more importantly, it's going to give them a bit of protection this weekend if we do get this frost that everyone's talking about. Okay, let's do the next 3 rows. Oh, today is actually turning into quite a physical day. Gordon Bennett. I'd made a mental list of all the things I'd like to do today, amongst which a ton of sewing later on. But what I hadn't thought about when I was making that list in my head was how physical all the jobs would be. I've got a couple more beds over there where you're standing to open up. They won't be too difficult because they've been covered, but it still will be a bit of work. Getting those potatoes sorted, that was hard work. And now I'm just gathering up a load of bricks because I'm going to make a little structure on the deck I'll show you in a second. But basically, in the next few days, all this cardboard is going to be off. So I don't need these bricks down anymore. And they're going to be super useful for something else. If a little heavy to be carting around. Is that it? Let's grab a few more and Let's get making stuff. Or maybe 2 more, yeah. Oh, too much water. Of course, I nabbed a load of my own bricks back in February to make the path. Shut up! To make the path in the herb bed. Oh, that's heavy. Come on, let's go and play on the deck. I think that's the vegetable police. They're after me for crimes against celery. I'll explain that in a minute. Oh, hello, Poppy. Chop, 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 out the way. Unless you want to carry something. One of the problems I have every year, every single year, is space for bringing on seedlings. So obviously I bring on quite a few indoors at home, and then I've got the cold frame. In a couple of weeks' time, or about 3 weeks' time, I'll need the cold frame for all the tender stuff at home to come to begin the hardening process. So I always run out of space. Now, I do quite a lot of beans in pots as sort of backup. They don't really need to be in the cold frame because, to be honest with you, I could be sowing them direct right now. Although I'm going to hold off the direct sowing, like I said, until after this weekend when we're supposed to have this little bit of a little cold, chilly period. Anyway, so what I thought was, why not utilise the space on the deck? I mean, I normally do have trays and trays of things, but even that gets full. So, I've got 3 of these old planks. Beautiful red pine. I've had them for years, absolutely years. I used them to build some sort of in-alcove shelving in my first ever property that I owned in London. So that is going back to 1999. When I moved to my current place, I needed a longer run of shelves to fill the alcoves and slightly shallower. So I've literally had these sitting in the shed for the last, well, as long as I've had the shed, but they've been kicking around for the last 15, 18 years or so. So I thought, great, I'll use these. The reason I've just gone around the whole garden gathering bricks is I'm just going to make little piers from the bricks, pop the shelves on, another pier of bricks, pop a shelf on, another pier. It isn't going to look beautiful, it might be a bit wobbly, but it's just a bit of extra space. Now, the reason I'm not going to build anything permanent is because then in the summer, when everything's planted, I can dismantle all of this and I have my deck back for its main purpose, which is me sitting in my deck chair. So, let's get on and do some stacking. I've sorted the bricks into piles of similar bricks so that hopefully I won't be too, but yeah, let's get cracking. It'll only take a few minutes, but I think it'll be a few minutes of time and effort well spent. Matching brick, matching brick. I do want to be able to fit a few underneath as well, so matching brick, matching brick. Oh, it's wobbly. Do you know what? I think that bottom one has got mortar on it. Is that what it is? Yeah, there's a ton of mortar on that. Right, let's start with the most solid bricks on the bottom. And save the mortary ones for the last row. They're nice and clean and stable. Any more? Oh, yeah, chunks of mortar. It's not going to be, you know, a huge amount of space more, but it's going to be a bit of space more. And let's face it, I'm sure we all are probably thinking alike in this respect, that every ounce of space we can get is worth it. I wonder if I need to do them a bit deeper. They're going to be too shady under there. Let's do that one. Do you know what I might do, thinking about it now? I might look out to see if I can find any bits of old window pane. Because if I did that, of course, get a bit more light going through. We'll see. We'll see. These bricks are all so gnarly with mortar. Let's give you a go on there. There's a bit more space. I suppose at least until things are starting to leaf up, it's a start, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think I'll put another layer on because that's going to get too high and probably wobbly, and if a cat or a fox jump on it, there's the possibility of the whole lot crashing down. Put the spare bricks there for now. Yeah, that'll do. I'll get a sowing later and fill that up. So I'm going to pop my little bergamot in, and also the two little chamomiles further near the front. Like I said, they have been outside for quite some time, but just for a little bit of protection, in case we do get this frost, I'm going to cloche them with these old water bottles. Now the bergamot should be a lovely deep pink, almost red colour. It will eventually, hopefully, get to about 3 feet high. The one thing I do want with the herb bed is I want to play with those heights, the sort of the different greens and textures of all the leaves. So it's not like a normal border. Gosh, this ground is dry. It's not like a normal border where you would think smallest at the front getting taller. It's slightly that, but I have got a few taller plants mixed in amongst the shorter plants, because basically I want, wherever I look at the herb bed from, whether I'm looking at it from the deck when I'm sitting there after a day's work, or if I'm in a part of the garden looking back on it, or even just walking down the path, there'll always be these variations in height and colour. I really love the blues and purples with reds and oranges, so this is hopefully going to add to that. And the bees should love it. Well, all the insects should. So in you go there. Like I say, the ground is dry and that little pot is dry, so good soak before I cover it. So we had all that rain yesterday, or supposedly, and still I've only managed to get about half a can's worth of water out of my water pot. Oh, if this grows, it would be absolutely gorgeous. So like I said, I'm just going to pop the water bottle on just over this weekend. And the reason for the stick is that I can clip the stick and the bottle together, so that if the foxes come along and want to bash it out the way, that'll just help hold it in place. Later on, I will use these cloches when I initially plant out my squash. I normally give them a covering for a few days, just while they acclimatise, even after I've hardened them off. So, that's the bergamot done. Let's do the chamomile. And then it's going to be time for some more strenuous jobs. Decided to re-sow the carrots today, where I've got the little gaps from my messing up with the plank. Now, after seeding today, I won't of course be able to put the plank on, because intermittently there are a few up, but I just thought, oh, big lump of soil. I just thought, while there is some moisture in the ground, I'll get them in. The ground's actually quite warm, so I know we are, where to put them in here, they want to grow. I know we're due this possible frost this weekend, but they will have the they'll have the environment mesh back over them, which will give them a degree of protection. They shouldn't be bothered at all, actually. So, this row was Autumn King. I had forgotten to label, so I had to look back at my own video to see what I put where. So I think it's interesting, let me put this packet down. I think it's interesting that it was obvious that the Autumn King had all come up first, which was why they suffered being under the plank for those few days that I didn't get here. And then I took all the planks off, and shortly behind them, over there, that's a row of something called Little Finger, which I'd not heard of, not tried before, but they were gifted to me, so absolutely, yes, I'm going to have a go. So this, like I say, this is Autumn King. This is the one that I absolutely love because it's such a gorgeous chunky carrot, really good robust flavour, and it sits in the soil over winter quite happily. I've harvested them as late as sort of March. They can, of course, by then be getting a little bit woody, but that doesn't matter. I make soup with them and blitz the woodiness out. Now that middle row I think fared the worst, and that, if I recall correctly, is Nantes, and I think I have a few of those left over too, so let's get re-sowing. And then on the other side where I've got the Little Finger, where there's any gaps there, I'll put in some more Autumn King because that's the seed I've got most of, and it's the carrot I love most too. But as you can see, the leeks, this is direct sown leeks, they're all coming up quite happily. Over there, that's spring onions. It still seems really peculiar to me to direct sow leeks. They're a bit higgledy-piggledy where the foxes walked up and down where I'd seeded. But yeah, let's see how they get on over the summer and see if I get a summer veg out of them instead of a winter veg. Yay! Right, more seeding. Wow, this morning, it seems like such a long time ago now. Oh my goodness, I'm definitely not firing on all cylinders at the moment. And that session today, it's nearly finished me, so I think I deserve to open this, don't I? Let's see. Don't be frightened, Poppy. Oopla. No, it's for Vivi. Cheers, everyone. It doesn't smell like weed. Just tastes like beer. Thank you so much. I could have done with chilling it, but I didn't think ahead. I didn't think I was going to have it today. But yeah, it's been, obviously you've seen all those little jobs I've been up to, but there have been some really big jobs too. I feel like a lot of today I've been moving wood from one place to another, moving bricks, and I was just trying to prepare the chickpea bed. And most of it was covered over the winter with the whole leaf cardboard scenario, and that bit's great, but about a third of it wasn't covered over the winter because I had the last remnants of my beetroot growing in it, and it's foul. It's such a stinker. I might as well be trying to break up concrete. Anyone with soil like mine will know what I mean. It's just, it's horrible. And I know people are going to say, go no dig, but I don't have the money to go no dig. I do what I can with what I've got. So, yeah, done in, but that's some really good stuff done today. Yay! I haven't done a load of the sowing that I thought I was planning to do today. Oh, itchy nose, cat alert. Yeah, some of the sowing that I was planning to do today, partly because we're going to be chilly for a couple of days. That's Poppy jumping up behind you, but also I've just kind of run out of time and run out of the will. We're due some rain. Oh, fingers crossed. It's supposed to be coming in about an hour. So I'm just going to focus now on tidying up, because I've got tools and stuff everywhere. You know what it's like when you have one of those days where you're doing so many different jobs, you almost end up with... Poppy's going to go flying. She's actually crawling through my trug that I had out with my carrot seeds in. Now she's going to climb on the cooker. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, a big old... She's so distracting. A big old... Can you hear her creeping through seed packets? A big old tidy up. Sit outside whilst it's still dry. Enjoy my beer. Go home, long hot bath with my book. I was mentioning this the other day, I've managed to get mud on it, so I wanted to share it with you all today. For those of you who don't follow my Facebook Facebook page, it's called Braiding Sweet Grass. Subtitle is beautiful: Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge and the Teaching of Plants. So this lady, Robin Wall Kimmerer, is an Indigenous American. What's the name of her tribe? I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly and I beg your pardon for that, but it's Potawatomi. And I think, if I recall correctly, I think that's a tribe somewhere up near the Great Lakes. But it's such a beautiful book. Thank you very much to Sarah who sent it to me. I've already promised it to about 5 other friends, but I've said to them all, please give it back, because it's the kind of book I know that I'll read over and over again. There are some books, I love all books, but there are some books in life which, from the first few words, there's something about them which it just makes the strings of your heart vibrate and sing. There's something about it. It's almost as if I'd written it myself. I don't mean because I'm a great writer, because I'm not. She's a great writer. But it just feels like she's telling me my own story, which of course is bonkers, because I'm not a native North American. I'm not a botanist, I'm none of those things, but there's just something about it which makes me feel it's just me somehow. It's very hard to describe because it's at such a deep personal level, but it just strikes a chord. It just strikes the most beautiful chord. It sort of suggests to me that this is my story, but for my whole life I've kept my story sort of pushed down somehow. And in reading this book, it's just letting some part of me, it's just letting it out. It's really, really beautiful. Very profound, very moving, incredibly uplifting and positive, and if you have even the slightest inkling towards plants, which I'm sure you all do because you watch my channel, and let's face it, the majority of my channel is about the growing of the food. If that's your inclination, I'm sure you would love this book too. If you feel a spiritual connection with the earth, you will love this book. If you find yourself overwhelmed by the beauty of our planet at times, you'll love this book. So yeah, if you can track down a copy. I don't know if it's published in the UK. I don't know if in the UK you'd probably have to go online to buy it and have it from the States, because this is an American publication, but well worth it, absolutely well worth it. So on that note, I think actually what I might do, because I brought it down to show you today, is I might say cheerio to you all, and I might read another chapter as I drink my hemp beer. Who'd have thunk it? You know, even talking about that book, it's just suddenly made me feel a little bit reinvigorated again, a little bit more alive, because literally 10 minutes ago, as I was starting to pack up in the garden. I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get home today? I can't drag one foot in front of the other. And now that I'm thinking about this book and talking about it a bit, I'm thinking, maybe I should stay in the garden for another 10 hours. I shan't. I shall be sensible, because I've definitely got, there's definitely something going on, and I need to preserve a bit of energy for tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, because it's the crazy season. So I've gone on for long enough today, so I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I hope wherever you're at in your gardens, I hope however the work is going, I hope you're enjoying it, loving every single second of it. Pardon me. Now whatever, bodily functions, we all do them. Yeah, I hope your little seedlings are all popping their heads out of their pots by now. It really is a wonderful thing, isn't it, to put a seed into some dirt and watch it grow. Happy growing to you all. I'll see you all again really soon, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves and curl up with a beautiful book and a nice bottle of beer. Bye for now.